The following program is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
Is in the building. Y'all know what time is. If not, then look back there in my background right there. It's time for one of our favorite shows we do every year where we talk about the biggest sport in the country. That is NFL football. So this is our NFL 25 preview. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're tuning in on the live or if you're tuning in on the rebroadcast. It's all good. Leave your comments. We will get back to you. Now, of course, it will not be the Guru Sports Session. Oh, by the way, good people, check this out. Have you seen our new logo? Have you seen it? Let me give y'all a little look-see at that right quick. Hold on. Yeah, y'all like that? Y'all like that? That's real nice. Who made that logo? You?
E-Buck, no.
Hey, claim your shot.
Yeah, I made that logo, man. We was just looking for a new logo. We was looking for it for a while, and I just basically was like, man, let me go ahead, put on my thinking cap and see what will suit both of us and see what we alike. And, that was one of the ideas I came up with.
Yeah, basically his producing is on that next level, y'all.
Thank you,
Y'all been
appreciate it.
producing shows. Don't be surprised when the Guru Productions start producing their own show on the Guru Network. Just saying. Don't forget about me, bro. Don't forget about me.
Oh, for sure. Never that, man. You definitely put me on when I didn't have nobody else to put me on. So, yeah, definitely strongly appreciate that. I don't never forget where I come from.
That's what's up. And that being said, our beans and grits, our butter, our eggs and bacon of the show
That
is
sounds
when we
good right
talk
now,
to
buddy.
football. Oh, that sounds good actually. But yeah. So yeah, we gonna definitely talk some NFL football. Before we get deep into it, Hugh, I know we got a couple little bits and pieces we want to throw in. Let's do that first.
Oh, absolutely, man. A lot of the guys, man, who sat in or who basically was at the training camps and stuff, and they didn't participate. They kind of just went through the motions without being fined. That little sweet thin line between the under the radar and what you can do and what you can't do situation. They got their bag just recently. Terry McLaurin got a 3-year, $96 million deal to stay with the Washington Commanders. And he has like basically $32 million annually with those 3 years and then a $30 million signing bonus. So I wanted to know what took them so long with that, though, man. Because Terry McLaurin been a key cog even when the team wasn't playing good. And now they're playing good. And the reason for Jaden Daniels' emergence is because of that, man. So I was like, what was the holdup? Come on, Magic and your people. You could do better than that.
Y'all got to be smarter about this thing. You seen last year when everybody started. Well, actually, that was starting early on in free agency this year when
Yep.
all the wide receivers started getting a bad. Like
Getting
my
it.
man's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Then, of course, what went on was Cincinnati, the place that don't pay nobody, it seems.
Nobody.
Made sure they broke off both they good wide receivers. When all that was going on, that's when those conversations should have first been had. Like, look, yeah, Scary Terry, you that guy here. We got to make sure we look out for you, bro. Let's go ahead and get you situated. They probably spent another $5 or $6 million that they could have saved if they would have took care of that right off rip. That being said, I think Terry basically kind of gave him a little bit of a discount. I
He
think he
did.
got
He
more
most
money.
definitely did. He could have got more. I believe that at first they didn't really want to put out that money and they were scared to kick it out because like the DK Metcalfs and some of the other guys who got their bags recently, he's about a couple of years older than them. So, I know they look at it like, yeah, man, if you was younger, they probably would have made the deal and materialized everything and put it in writing. But him getting up in age, man. You know, when you're on that wrong side of 32, man, that's when all the injuries and stuff start to happen. So I kind of get it, but it was like this is a guy who's been consistent, never really been injured, and who's been a key cog to everything you guys trying to do. Even when your team was trash, he was that guy on the team, and I just feel like you got to reward the guys who've been day ones and who've been executing on the field. But yeah, I definitely get both other sides though, and it kind of
Right.
really
Not to mention, it's two people on that squad you got to keep happy. Terry was one of them. The other one is his quarterback. And if that
absolutely.
quarterback loses his number one receiver, then a couple years from now, when it's time for him to get his bag, he may say, you know what? I seen how you did my boy Scary Terry. I think I'm going to go on somewhere else.
And that's crazy too, because that's how they look at it, man. They look at the respect that the players get and what you've done and how you've treated your players. And speaking of another guy who got his bag, man, I think it was just more of a they was trying to figure out what to do. And when I seen some of the guys get released from the team and they had a little wiggle room, I said, okay, is it really time? And that's when I seen that they were saying that they were going to bring back the conversations with Trey Hendrickson. And of course, he just got an increase for this year, but it's not no extension. They just gave him the upfront money that he was supposed to get annually in the first place for being one of the best pass rushers in the game. And he got $14 million extra, which made this deal like a 1 year, $30 million contract. I don't believe it's going to be nothing past this year. He's 30, so I think now he definitely might. Well, actually, there ain't no might to it. I wouldn't be surprised if he for sure hit the free agency after this season.
He got to get out. He got to. At
Definitely
this
with
point,
Shamar Stewart and some of the pass rushers they got in this draft.
I think Cincinnati done spent all the real money they're going to spend on Burrow and the two wide receivers.
Absolutely,
Anybody
absolutely.
else, if you ain't trying to give us no hometown, no serious hometown discount, because you know,
Hit the bricks.
Natty, they don't spend money like that. If not,
Absolutely.
then yeah, we're just gonna keep drafting and hope we luck up on the Super Bowl like we did a couple years ago.
Absolutely. I was surprised they kicked out that money for not Burrow, but the two receivers, man. That really shocked me because you thinking it was going to be one and one was going to leave. I was thinking T. Higgins was going to probably be out the door. They already had him as one of the best free agents at the time, too, when this was going on. But then to see they both sign, and then it was actually pretty cool, too, that they had enough wiggle room to try to keep Trey Henderson happy for this year at least because yeah, I know after this, man, they moving on. They just felt like they wanted to reward him because they wasn't going to get rid of him. They was going to keep him this year, and that money would drop off after this season. So I know they ain't losing no sleep over that.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about your Dallas Americans team. I can't say your team, my team, but the Dallas Cowboys, man. The fans was upset with your boy, man. You heard what he did. Micah Parsons, they said at the game. I don't think they was too happy. He came in there with a hoodie and eating chips too, even though right now he didn't sign no contract and he's still sitting out. But I don't think they was too happy, even when he did have his uniform on, how he was laying and chilling up on the massage table. They just feel like he don't take things serious right now. And I believe they're looking at it like he not serious or not concerned about what's going on. He is, trust me, but it's like you got that whole soap opera going on, man. Are you going to pay him or are you not going to pay him? Because one of the teams I seen who's interested in him, and Lord knows, I hope this team don't even get close to getting this dude, Micah Parsons. And that's one of the teams who's knocking on the door was the Green Bay Packers.
Man, everybody been throwing their chips in on that. If you listen to some of the other local stations, radio stations, you know, we just showed interest. Chicago, Pittsburgh. Man, look, he is
He
one of
gonna get paid.
he
He
is
gonna be
one
the
of the
highest
best
paid.
five defensive players in the NFL. He got all the cards right now.
Yep, absolutely.
He got all the cards. Because right now, Jerry looking like a clown out here. How he dealing with this whole thing. Especially after he made the statement that he liked to have the soap opera of it all.
Yeah.
It's obvious. In the end, everybody in the locker room looking at it the same way that their leader, Mr. Prescott, looking at it like, man, we see how Jerry do this. You'll be here. You'll get your bread, dog. Don't even worry about it.
I want to talk about some of the things that happened too with some of the notable cuts, man. I've seen today too, because when those cuts happen, they usually give you 24 hours before the person can go to your team or another team or a practice squad or what so have you. One of the noticeable ones that I was surprised with us, man, starting with the Detroit Lions when Dan Skipper was released. But I see today that he's back and he's on the practice squad.
Of course.
Dante Johnson, though, down from the Browns. He's been on so many teams right now, man. And I think Deontay is one of them guys, man. After he quit on the Ravens, and you can't quit on an organization like that. He first off, he burned two organizations in this division, man. You did this to, the Ravens, but then you did it to the Steelers first. You was just going through the motions and you were getting upset and complaining because you wasn't getting the ball like you wanted to, with George Pickens on the team. But then you turn around and you just was like, I'm not going to play when they asked you to come in and play a game. And I'm just thinking now teams are starting to look at that. And those are two of the best organizations that you can play in.
I need y'all to understand something about cut day. It don't matter as much as it once did. Let me tell you why. Remember, now the NFL is playing a 17-game schedule, people, which means that more than likely more people are going to get hurt. And when they get hurt, you got two options. Find somebody out the dog pile that ain't played no NFL game, that been sitting there waiting to see what they was going to get called in. They played Division 3 or whatever, and get them a shot. Or the more sensible thing, find somebody that's been on the squad already, make sure they in shape, and go ahead and bring them on in, especially if they know the system.
Mm-hmm.
And just go ahead and put them on the practice squad, or we can put them in the game. So anybody that was halfway decent that got cut, if they don't get picked up between now and Saturday, because you see a lot of them people already starting to get picked up by
Oh,
squad,
there's a lot of them, man. There's a
then
lot of them out
give
there.
it a week or two of the first season, and you'll see a lot of them people on somebody's squad.
Speaking of, I'm glad you mentioned that too, E. How do you feel about a lot of these teams and their reunions from the people they're drafted to they let go and, they've been gone for a while or via trade and they're back on their teams now that drafted them? Like, for instance, Amari Cooper went back to the Raiders. Then you have Adam Thielen, who just went back to the Vikings. You have Keenan Allen, who's over with the Chargers now. And then, of course, you have Brandon Cooks go back to the Saints.
All right, think about it. In some of these cases, it's simple. They went to these places, they played there for a time, they established family and kept that family in that location. That was the case with Thielen, for example. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not a surprise that he is there.
You see,
When it
I'm sorry, E. My bad.
when it comes to other people, it's like now maybe you didn't fit the system before, but you fit it better now, or you
Mm-hmm.
just desperate. I mean, in the case of Amari Cooper, look, he was a Raider. He was liked by Raider Nation. You know what I'm saying? Is he a good player like he once was? Probably not. But look at the Raiders right now. We'll get into
Pretty
that when
much.
we get to break it down to teams. But they can use all the help they can get over there.
I
And
see
as
you.
far as some of the others, sometimes you're just comfortable with a player. You know what they bring to the table, not just from a play standpoint, but outside what they bring to the locker room, all that good stuff.
About to run down some of the people, but before I do, it was cool to see that his family jumping up and down, his kids and his wife celebrating. They was ready to come back to Minnesota. That trade's supposed to be materialized, man, but they didn't really know what to do yet or what compensation they wanted. And to get that done, that was a pretty good move and a smart move from them because they already know Jordan Addison's going to be going for the first 4 games, and they had needed a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see your boy Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back in Kansas City for depth?
Do he ever really leave Kansas City for real?
Not really.
Ain't this like his third time being back with them?
I'm surprised they didn't give McCole Hartman back. He ended up going back to
And
Green
and
Bay.
you might be speaking too soon. Don't be surprised to see him pop up. I mean, in the end, certain teams are dictated by certain players. Patrick Mahomes liked that dude Hilaire, okay?
He did.
That's one of his guys. So I'm not
Hilaire's
surprised he's
not a
back.
bad player neither. He actually was really played exceptionally well when he was over there.
Because keep in mind, you don't need to have a great running game in Kansas City for Kansas City to work.
Mm-hmm.
They just need some people that's operable. And he always been at least operable.
Tony Jefferson went back to the Chargers, and then I knew for sure, better yet, that's what I should have said, that Dorian Thompson Robinson was just basically on borrowed time in Philly. But then guys like Cam Akers, Snoop Huntley, Mike Edwards, and Isaiah Simmons, I believe those guys, and even KJ Hamler, those guys will be probably back on their team once it gets the time to go back to the practice squad.
I'm gonna safely assume by the end of the week, most of them names you name will be on somebody's squad.
Yeah, because they're big time names, man. How did you feel about Tommy Cutler's going to New England as their backup? That wasn't a bad deal right there.
Well, New England gonna be an interesting case this year. We'll get to that.
Okay, yeah, because I think that
Tommy DeVito, he ain't a bad dude. I kind of like that guy.
that was actually a good
Now
backup.
his agent, yeah, he kind of a shady character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, if y'all know about his
oh
agent,
yeah, he looked like one of them like mafia dudes.
exactly.
But yeah, man. I seen the Kenny Pickett trade too, man, because in Cleveland they went down to the three quarterbacks, which is Flacco. Then you have Dylan Gabriel, and now you have Sedura on the team as the 1-2-3 combination. Kenny Pickett going to the Raiders, man. Oh yeah,
We'll get to that.
they still have D Watt,
Yeah,
man.
we'll get there.
How long do you think they're gonna have D Watt? I don't think
We'll talk about that when we get there.
I actually don't think they have a choice right now. They probably stuck with that muck.
Like I said, we will definitely have that discussion.
Man, I wanted to talk to you, and I wanted to basically see like the power, rankings too. We're not gonna power rank them, but we're gonna do what we normally do because it's way too early to be power ranking and crowning people right now in the NFL.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about the teams that we think is gonna be there as usual, and the contenders and the pretenders.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start off by going to like every division and kind of make it that simple, because I feel like going through the divisions and make it a little bit more comfortable for us and kind of able to break it down better as far as the format. We're going to start off with the AFC East.
Right now, y'all remember, this is the part where y'all break out your paper, pen, if y'all keeping it along, and see if your picks match up with our picks at the end. We were pretty close last year with most of ours. I must admit,
a lot of them, man. And when I say we were close, our Super Bowl was almost close. Even though I think our second option was Philly. Well, yours was.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the headache who was their coach was going to cause issues, but then
yes, you did.
I had to remember that they had Vic Fangio, and then they had one of the best, guys as far as when you have a good offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. That kind of helped. That more or less took a lot of stress off of his back, man. Right. So that's what made them a contender. But then, we got to look at the things too. Not only that, they had like good pieces they added to defense, and just to make the long story short, the Saquon Barkley took them over the top, man.
The unsung hero of last year's championship squad was definitely the GM. He did his job.
Absolutely. He
in the draft and in free agents.
Because you see, he built his team from the front. Both of them on the offensive line was who they have one of the top three or the best offensive line. And then they turn around and they have one of the best, defensive lines in the league. So that's where it all starts at. And then the draft picks they had in Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, man, it's just crazy how their draft was and how those guys was able to be plug and play players and who made huge contributes to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
But let's get into this AFC East. You have Miami, New England, Buffalo, and New York. Let's do the process of elimination right now.
Okay, well, if we going worst to best, then you already know I got New England off rip. Mm-hmm. Okay, look, yeah, I still feel some type of way about how they played my guy over there in New England, how he didn't get a chance to really try to develop nothing. One and done. No NFL coach, unless they go 0-17, should be one and done.
No.
If I remember right, even when the Jets went 1-15, wasn't that 1-15 year they went? They gave dude one more chance after that.
Yeah.
Now, why is that? Now, at some point in this show, I was going to whip these out. But anyway, they definitely got a coach that they're going to give a bigger string to now because, truthfully, I think that's who was wanted all along by Mr. Kraft. You know what I'm saying? That's why he wasn't pressed to get no job last year because He knew he had one on standby. So that being said, are they going to be significantly better this year? Hell no. Where did they really improve at? They got a couple of decent little things they threw in the mix. Yeah, the coaching should be a little bit better, but I don't see where they got enough of what they need to be sufficient, not only in a division, but in that conference. So will they win 5 games? Maybe. So yeah, I got them as last in that division without question.
I have them competing for the number one spot in that division because not only did they improve, they have hella depth right now on
All right,
that.
talk to me.
You know, they ended up getting Milton Williams. They got Harold Landry. They ended up getting guys who were really good. You know, I definitely like Carlton Davis, but I know he's an injury prone dude. And I just feel like right now with that team, as far as the defense and then getting Stephon Diggs and getting a lot of the key card players that they put in, and they spent a decent amount of money in free agency. Don't say that that's going to basically materialize into success right away. But most of the guys that they got over there is guys who's going to go and they're going to go and play for Mike Vrabel, and they're going to know that New England way because he's going to teach it. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're knocking on the door of Buffalo Bills because Miami is not really a team that I'm really sure about right now over there in the AFC East.
I am stunned. Okay, so give me a record for those guys.
I'm gonna go. They're going to be on the cusp, but I don't believe that they're going to actually be one of them teams that actually be in the playoffs. I'm gonna go like maybe like 9-8.
You on that rock? You smoking that stuff, Hugh? I can't see it. I
Man, I
mean, the
don't
main
know.
reason, no, seriously, the main reason why I don't see it offensively, I think they're gonna be challenged. Okay, yeah, they
I
got
definitely
Stephon
feel
Diggs, but
like
you already know he
that's
don't
one
get
of
the
their
ball
issues.
enough. It's gonna be trouble.
That's one of their issues because I didn't think they have a lot of depth at the receiver position over there after Stephon Diggs because you could I forgot the one guy that used to be a Buffalo, man, the crazy dude who never wears shoes all the time in the winter. And I forgot his
I
name.
know you're talking about, but
But
yeah,
yeah, he's going to be a pretty good wide receiver over there to help them out too. But that's the one problem. If I had any problems, their offense still needs to be improved. Even though
that's the main reason why I say they
Tre-
don't get it done.
I like Trevion
Defensively, would
Henderson.
it be better? Absolutely. They got Brable. He know what to do, but I'm looking at what they got in terms of quote unquote weapons. I don't see it. I got
Yeah, because
5 and 12.
yeah, I definitely want to talk about that one a little bit more, man. Because I just was like really surprised. His name is Mac Hollins, by
Okay.
the way. But no, man, they did pretty good, man. I like the Robert Spillane deal too that they had. They had some dogs that came on that defense. Of course, we kind of figured they were going to have that. Only issue I still had was the not having the depth outside of Stephon Diggs, and Mac Hollins. I feel like they needed another wide receiver or at least a third option because Kendrick Bourne wasn't an answer, and you could tell because they booted him just recently. But I think they're going to be better than what people actually get them credit for this year.
Okay.
We'll definitely go back to that.
Yep, indeed. All right. So who I got next? So next, I would have to go with the Jets. The Jets should be slightly improved over last year. They definitely got better coaching this time around. As you know, they have the Lions' former defensive coordinator as their coach. I just don't like them offensively as much. They do have a couple good weapons. You know, they got Brees Hard running back. They got the wide receiver, that kid from that school down south, but he is a good receiver, Mr. Wilson. And
Yeah.
you know, they still, matter of fact, don't they still got Lazard over there?
Hmm.
So yeah, you know, they got a couple good receivers to work with. And the key is, what will the kid finally do? Okay, speaking of that team from down south, they got that kid at quarterback, Young Fields. This is show and prove year for him. Either he gets it done, or we'll see you in the CFL or UFL somewhere down the line. Cause you're not gonna get no more starting jobs in the NFL. You either get it done this year or you're done. And I think that he will put forth a decent effort. But when all is said and done, I'm giving them maybe 7. So 7-10.
I have them as the last team. And then
Hey,
it'll be a struggle between the Miami, even though that offense is potent. But my issue with Miami is think about it, E. What's their issue right now? I looked and I was like, man, they ain't even trying to sign nobody at this position, the cornerback position. Who y'all gonna stop?
I'm more concerned about that offensive line because he was absolutely right if one thing happens, and that's my real concern with Miami. I see them being about even, somewhere in that 8, 9, 9, and 8 range. And it all depends on one very important factor. Will Tua stay healthy? Because bottom line, Tua is one more away. One more concuss, and that's it. I'm not trying to see that dude play no more. I'm not trying to see them let him play no more. One more concuss, he got to sit it down. I'm not considering Tua the football player at that point. I'm considering Tua the man. Two of the father, two of the husband. You got to be around for them kids, and they want you to be in your right mind. Who knows what type of CTE you might already have from the 4 or 5 concussions that we know of that you didn't already had in the NFL. That's not even counting your days in high school or college where you have had concussions. So it ain't like, okay, suddenly this is happening to you. This has been happening throughout your entire football career. You got to consider the rest of your life at that point. But if you can stay healthy and upright and do your thing, I think it's good enough to get y'all a winning record, but not the division.
Yeah, because I definitely had it like Jets, Miami, New England, Buffalo, of course.
All right. Then, of course, there's Buffalo. Now, this is a big year for Buffalo, okay? This is it, all right? If they don't get it done, and remember, if you Buffalo, you kind of got same expectations that we had here last year. It's Super Bowl or bust. There is no in between. So winning the division should be a given for y'all, and it almost is. The division gonna be a little bit harder than it was last year, but looking at the rest of y'all games, y'all got enough people on that schedule to where you should pull off a good 11 or 12 wins. And then, of course, you got the MVP on the squad. I think he will be an MVP candidate again this year because when he is engaged, that's a big man with a big arm, and he gets it done.
They ended up bringing back Jordan Poyer too, man. Their defense was young, but they actually played exceptionally well, which surprised me because we thought last year, damn, if they crumbled or failed, it was last year because they had so many new faces on defense. But then,
Right. And they had injury issues, too, at some point.
yeah, so now to have those guys back healthy, yeah, man, and just the offense as well, to have Josh Allen, man, is huge. So that's why I believe that they're the team to beat right now in AFC East. But I definitely want to see how that stack up, man. And since we gave you an AFC East, I'm gonna give you the NFC East too.
All right.
And
So, yeah, for those of y'all take a score at home, I got Bills, followed by Miami, the Jets, and New England. And Hugh has in the East what now?
I have the Bills, New England, Miami, and the Jets.
All righty. All right, let's go, Hugh. Who's next?
All right, on the NFC East, you have the New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, Dallas Cowboys, and the Washington Commanders.
This is gonna be a real interesting division this year, y'all. It really is. First of all, let's get the junk out the way. Giants. I'm not sure what we gonna get. I know it's not gonna be a lot of great, mind you, but I don't think it's gonna be extra crappy either. I'm curious to see how the quarterback thing plays out early on. I think Russell starts. He gets a good 3-4 weeks to establish what he got left in the tank. If they make out about 50-50, at that point, it's going to be real hard for Russell Wilson to walk around New York, okay? Because the minute anything go wrong from that point on, it's going to get loud up in there. We want dirt. We want dirt. Keeping in mind that at this point, He'll probably be number 3 on the depth chart. Shouldn't be, but he probably will. Because of course, they got famous Jameis as the backup. But
Oh no, I thought that Dart was the backup, and it's
if he is, if he ain't, he should be. Because I think famous Jameis' time has come and gone. Keep in mind, he played in preseason. I ain't see nothing. I ain't see nothing that indicated that the interceptions is out his system, that he gonna make quality decisions. I think this is his last year in the NFL. I'm gonna be real honest with you. That being said, I definitely see him on TV after that, by the way, because he is a entertaining dude outside of that.
yeah.
Or with a nice podcast or something along them lines. So I don't feel bad for Jameis. Hell, he's still pretty young. He early 30s. Might even want to get that baseball thing one more try. He's a pretty decent baseball player at Florida State as well. But anyway, once we get into the Dart era, that's when things get real interesting. Now keep in mind, the reason why the Giants ain't gonna be total crap, that defense gonna be decent. That defense gonna be real decent, especially if that guy that they drafted projects like they think he gonna project, and he gonna be the next dangerous man alive on the defensive end. If they get that type of play from him defensively, and Thibodeau kind of step it up just a little bit more, yeah, it could be real interesting for them.
And you got Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, don't forget that kid as well.
Barnes. Yeah.
And then of course I definitely like that dude Neighbors at wide receiver. That he definitely is one of them ones. So if they can get him the ball enough and they have a halfway decent running game, I can see them winning more than you think they would. So don't be surprised they eke out like 7, 10.
Because between Neighbors and Slayton, a lot of people sleep on Slayton, man. He just get the job done every time. He not one of the guys that you probably pick first when it comes to fantasy draft, but he always get the job done. So yeah, I think that they'll be at least at the 7 and 10, 6 and 11 mark. But
Yeah, I think crazy enough, the key to them is how many games they get to play in the bad weather. I think this is going to be a decent bad weather team for some reason.
I don't think it's going to be enough to save Brian Daboll's job, though.
Oh, no. Bottom line is, unless he finished with a winning record, he got to go. Gots to go. And I don't see that happening. All right, next, I got, I'm kind of torn, but I'm going to go with Dallas. I mean, it's an easy answer if in the end, week 1 coming, Michael Parsons still on the massage table. You see what I'm saying? Sometime between now and next week, that dude got to get his money, okay? And all is forgiven, hugs and kisses, and move on. Otherwise, you're going to start to have problems, especially if Dallas lose that first game against the Eagles because they play them first. And I fully expect them to lose whether he's playing or not.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, it's all going to start to get downhill real quick. And don't let Dak start having Dak-type issues. Then it really get bad. Now, assuming everybody healthy and plays and whatnot, and they got some type of running game this year, I can see them winning 9 to 10. If not, then